Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rabbi Jenny Greenspan here for Congregation Beth-El. Excited to do our weekly Shabbat morning Torah Talk. This week on Parashat Lekh Lekha. Go forth, the first Torah portion where we meet the first of our patriarchs, Abram, who will later be called Avraham. We'll look a little bit at his journey today, but first I'll say Shabbat Shalom and welcome to everyone here. Shabbat Shalom to the Seagulls, to Phyllis Luger, to Jody Zucker. Shabbat Shalom. So good to see all of you joining me each week here for our Torah Talk right here on our Facebook Live. And I'm looking forward to learning a little bit of this morning's Torah portion. As usual, if you have a copy of the Etz Chaim Chumash, you can grab it. If you'd like a PDF of this week's Torah portion, it is on the Beth-El website under our virtual Shabbat resources entitled Etz Chaim. And you can take a look. Today we will be on page 72 if you feel like flipping right now. Flipping or scrolling, I suppose. I'll say Shabbat Shalom and welcome to Michael Kahn, to Alan Hamburger. I'm so glad to see everybody each week. Shabbat Shalom to James Roth as well. And let's get started. This morning, I actually want to start a little bit differently. I don't want to start directly in the verses right away. But I want to start by thinking a little bit about something that I've been noticing happening in our world, and that I think Abram and Sarai, as Abraham and Sarah were known at the very beginning of our Torah portion, also seem to exhibit, and Sarai seems to experience. So I want us to start by, I invite you for just a moment to think about the value of the human beings in your life, the value of the people in your life. And now when I say think about the value of the people in your life, most of us go to a place of thinking about the emotional value of those we love most. How do they support us? How do we support them? How do we express love and caring and gratitude to one another? But actually this morning want to actually truly mean value in almost in a financial sense, frankly, directly in a financial sense. And I don't necessarily mean our family members, although whether we like to admit it or not, our family members do have financial impact on us. Our spouse helps determine what our monthly budget might be in our household. Our children, if they don't currently, probably have at some point cost us money, and may at some point help be a financial benefit as well. But I don't want us to think so much about our family's value, both emotionally and financially, just at the idea of the impact that other people can have on us financially, before we look at one of the most difficult passages, for me at least, in this part of our Torah. We are very close to the beginning of this Torah portion. It's probably like the second piece of this Torah portion. The Torah portion opens famously with God telling Abram, Lekh Lekha, go forth to a land that I will show you. Leave everything that you know, and you are going to become the father of this great nation, multiple great nations, in this new place. And then they get to this new place, and now you should join me in the Chumash, in Bereshit, in the book of Genesis, chapter 12, beginning at verse 10. We're about 10 verses into this Torah portion, where we now have Abram and Sarai have arrived in this new place, ready to build these new nations, though they don't yet have children of their own, but they're ready to go. And then we join at verse 10. There was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe in the land. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, I know what a beautiful woman you are. If the Egyptians see you and think that she is his wife, they may kill me and let you live. Please say that you are my sister, that it may go well with me because of you, that I may remain alive thanks to you. This is already a difficult passage, for here we see Abram a little worried for his own safety, thinking that he may be murdered by this other group of people so that they can take his wife. And so he says, don't say that you're my wife, say that you're my sister. They'll leave me alone if they think that you're my sister. When Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw how very beautiful the woman was. Pharaoh's courtiers saw her and praised her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's palace. And because of her, it went well with Abram. He acquired sheep, oxen, donkeys, male and female slaves, female donkeys, and camels. But God afflicted Pharaoh and his household with mighty plagues on account of Sarai, the wife of Abram. So here we see suddenly Abram is financially benefiting from having claimed that Sarai was his sister, which means that he allowed for her to be, at least temporarily, sold as a bride price. And he financially benefits. He significantly financially benefits. Pharaoh sent for Abram and said, "What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife, that God is sending these plagues? Why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her as my wife? Now here is your wife. Take her and be gone." And Pharaoh put men in charge of him, and they sent him off with his wife and all that he possessed. So I find this passage extremely disturbing. It's fine if we're all feeling a little bit disturbed by this, because here we see the man who's to become our patriarch, to be the start of our people. And one of the first things that he does is to financially take advantage of the person that he should emotionally care about more. We would like to see Abram caring emotionally and supportively of his wife, and instead he allows for her to be used for his financial gain. And he implies, because he is worried that they may take his life, but he does significantly financially benefit. And in our Talmud, other rabbis try to pick up on this and say that we should learn from this that a husband should always honor his wife and take care of her, because it is because of a wife that a house receives its blessing, that a household receives blessing, that God sends blessings to households on account of the wife, not the husband. Except that doesn't seem to me to be the pshat, the plain meaning of this text. This story is describing use of another human being. This story is describing Abram treating his wife in an I-it relationship instead of an I-thou relationship, to borrow from Martin Buber. And it is recognized by Rabbi Buber and others that we always will have moments of I-it in all of our relationships. The moment of, we're out of eggs, do you mind grabbing them from the store, is an I-it moment that most couples and most households will have. But this is across the line. And most of us know that. We read through this and we are horrified at what Abram can do to his wife. And we hope to strive to be better. And I think that we are not always as successful at that, striving to be better, for the people in our lives who are not in our immediate circle. The people who work for us, the people who work for companies whom we patronize, the people whom we simply come across at the grocery store in the cashier's line. We don't always remember that those people too are beyond the I-it and beyond the financial value to us. We don't always think about them as humans and care for their human dignity. We may not put a direct dollar sign on that person as we interact with them, but we're more concerned about our own financial gain or benefit or loss in the moment of that relationship. And bring this up because I know that right now there are thousands of workers in multiple industries who this year have either been on strike, are threatening to go on strike, or are currently on strike, asking to be treated as more than money. They are asking to be treated not as Sarai is treated in this story, as someone who can simply be pushed away for someone else's financial gain, but rather to be treated with the human dignity that they deserve, the dignity of enough time to have time with their families, enough time to sit down for a meal, enough time to sleep between shifts. Our Talmud says, "Come and hear, great is human dignity. It is so great that it overrides a prohibition in the Torah." That we should always remember that the humans in our lives have human value, have emotional value. We must strive to not only see the financial value, to acknowledge that our economy does function on humans interacting with money, but that when we come to times for those interactions, we must remember to see the human on the other side, to treat them well, to give them the time that they deserve, to give them the food they deserve, to give them the breaks that they deserve, to give them the salaries they deserve, and to give them the human dignity that they deserve. Later on, Sarai and Abram seem to heal at least a little bit. We will continue to explore their story. Theirs is a very complicated romance and relationship, which we will see in the coming couple of weeks in our Torah portion. But we see them heal a bit, and I hope that we can continue as a society to learn how to heal those that we care for in our lives and all that we interact with. Say Shabbat Shalom to those who've joined as well. Shabbat Shalom to Carol Steinfeld and to Jim Hammonds. Shabbat Shalom to Peter Mayer and to Marty Lipp. Shabbat Shalom, Cheryl Tuff. So good that you are here and celebrating an anniversary of a bat mitzvah, though, and holding your daughter. We'll say Shabbat Shalom, and I hope that we all have a week of caring for one another and of remembering to treat one another with all of the dignity that we each deserve. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.